So here we go, episode 7 of D3 football player to D1 athlete. We are doing our deload week this week. We're on a max velocity day today. So what deload means is basically I'm going to cut my volume down by about 33%. And then my intensity, my weights will all stay at the same level. So the intensity will stay the same as it was before. I will still do my tests. And then this is the reason I do this is to kind of drop off the volume, let our body get a good recovery in before we go hit our intensification phase. Do I absolutely need it? No, but it's better to do that now to kind of help mitigate accumulated fatigue rather than just running through it and maybe not taking that break and seeing some symptoms of overtraining later on, which is the main thing I'm trying to avoid. Obviously, you do need a lot of stress to be put on the body. I'm also about to get into college lifting again with our team and our team program, which a lot of people have to work around. For me, I would rather lift on my own, obviously, but in a team setting, to build camaraderie, to build an actual team, locker room, want to be with each other, to work for the same goal, it's important to be in a locker room together. So you have to be able to work around that program and still get results. A lot of what I do is set up so that we are like it's already based that we're going to have an idea that most people are doing strength training outside, or even if maybe they're younger, once they get into high school, people are going to hammer them with strength training over and over and over again, which I program for every person's coach to be mainly focused on strength because most people are focused on strength. So we focus almost entirely on speed while developing our strength, but our strength is a secondary kind of achievement after our base of elasticity and sprint mechanics and sprint, just having a base for sprinting in younger athletes. The older kids, if you need strength training, I'm going to get you stronger. That's kind of how it is. We're going to see what we need, see what we need to work on, what's going to get us results now, because when we're younger, we need to build that base, see what we're going to do for the future. Once we get older, we have a better idea of what we need to work on to get better for that season and that year to year. And the year to year development is still there, and that helps us kind of build. We can get more specific with what we're doing. That's going to make a better adaptation for this athlete rather than this one, if that makes sense. While with the younger, you want to stay more general and build that base. So today, max velocity day. Things stay relatively the same in terms of the warm up and everything like that. I am changing something with all of my rotational, frontal, and linear warm ups. So that's kind of my thing. In my accumulation phases, I will keep that the same, where I just do different movements that are frontal, lateral, rotational, and linear. I will keep that the same in my accumulation phases and just introduce new movements because we're not forcing a ton of adaptation already. However, now that I'm getting into my intensification, my power phases, and I am going to be doing strength training separately at my school with the hour or whatever it is that we're doing there. Now I will be taking the time here to do, so my max velocity day, I want to do one plyo that's specific to max or a max velocity, so more upright, unilateral kind of stuff, quick contact, obviously. Then I'll be doing a ankle and foot plyo on these days, or that ankle joint kind of idea. Then we'll do a sprint specific plyometric or drill, or more it's like going to be a technique motor learning thing like dribbles or straight leg bounds or wickets or things of that nature on a max velocity day. And we're going to see how that works for our intensification and power phases, especially since we are doing our strength training there. Now that I have to kind of adapt to that, we're going to be pretty much doing a strength session in the morning, which is going to potentiate our session here. Now, things can change a little bit in terms of in other ways. So I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do, which is based on the program I'm doing at school. This is a long intro, I know, I apologize. But if you're interested in this stuff, that's why I'm recording it. So I guess you're welcome also, because you might have a similar issue with your high school strength program, college strength program, whatever. you have to be able to work around that. So you don't want to double down on what you're doing in your strength program. So you're in your college, high school strength program. We're focusing on strength and lifting. Now we're going to train speed. We're going to do our long warm up. We're going to do spine mobility, all these things. We're going to sprint. We're going to do plyos, and we're going to do speed, strength, power kind of stuff. That's what you want to do to work offset that. You don't want to double up on what you're doing. So for me, I'm going to do my warm up, those. I'm going to do that plyo, ankle plyo, and my speed sprint kind of movement drill, and then our test. And that's going to be my main work here. And then I'll hop into something vertically power focused is my idea of what I'm going to do, and finish off with some hamstring work. And then on my acceleration day, it's going to be the same basic thing. Instead of doing a ankle or foot plyo, I'm going to do a rotational movement for power. And I'll do a sprint plyo, but it's not going to be the same ones that apply to max velocity because we're focusing on acceleration, right? So we'll do that. And then we'll do some kind of hip power movement, whether that's, depth jumps or depth leaps or hang poles or whatever I'm not doing in my training there. I can still do contrast method. I just got to see what's going on with our strength program at school, and I'll have a better idea of what I want to do here. So that's our basic idea. One of the longer intros I've done, but getting ready for a change in my programming, something I have to add in that I wasn't expecting to add in right now, which is fine. I have strength training at school till April, and then I can do my own stuff again in the summer, completely my own training, which is fine because that's going to be our most sport specific stuff. And I can adjust some of the stuff I'm doing in lifting based on percentages and how I do it, all that stuff. So it'll be exciting. But let's get into the workout. Two minutes. It's getting easier and easier to get that. Gonna have to up it to 2:30 soon, but that's when I'm gonna get all of them to 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna up it to 2:30 is the goal. I also have some different ankle drills that I'm gonna start working in as we get going forward, but right now we're gonna stick with the basics still. Just got my karma for saying it was getting easy. It was 2 minutes on that one. That was one of the harder times I've ever done that, but every second you push through, you get a little bit better. And once you drop on the ice, so it's not that bad. We got one more left. Got 2 minutes on all three. We're going to do that through the rest of the week, and then we're going to bump our goal up to 2:30 and then start incorporating some new ankle isos. But you can see how fast those kind of iso things can get your foot so much stronger so quickly. You do have to cycle them in and out. You can't just do isos forever. They do adapt to that stimulus, so you got to change it up. But made me want to cry, but it's great progress on our feet. That's super important. Be mobile today in terms of our hips, which if you watch continuously, generally that is not the case. But today feeling pretty good. Hopefully that reflects in our time. This week we're doing this for our posterior wake up drill, basically to wake up our hamstrings and glutes before we work out because they're so important, and usually they're kind of inactive, especially with me. So here we go. So like I said, with our plyo, ankle foot dominant or work, and then our sprint specific, so we're doing power skips as our max velocity plyo. It's single leg, it's vertical, pretty specific to sprinting, or has a good translation at least. I'm I've gone for height, so I shouldn't say power skips, but we're going to be trying to be quick and reactive off the ground in our skips, so we should get more reps in. Pogos for our foot ankle, and then we're doing dribble bleeds, which I will show in a minute for our sprint specific plyo. So we're doing dribbles. This is a focus on the cyclical action of sprinting. So we're going to go around our ankle and kind of cycle through first. That's the first cone. Then we go up to our knee and cycle through, and then all the way up, cycle through. This is just a very low intensity way of getting some similar to maximal speed work in. Or like it's going to look similar to what it would be like, but with lower intensity. Notice I'm not necessarily pushing when I'm doing that. I'm kind of just rebounding off the ground and letting my elastic motion take me. As I'm in an upright motion, I'm not really pushing out and accelerating with concentric action. It's just that elasticity that's allowing you to move and hitting that kind of very similar to max velocity movement of that cyclical, upright, pushing action where you're striking out underneath you. And you can notice I get going a little bit just doing those. Just finished our last max velocity day of the month of running our 5-10 flies. Unfortunately, I'll probably still be doing it next month because it is literally an ice storm outside. If I can get out and I can run farther, I will. Same thing goes for you. If you can get out and run outside or you have a track, I might try and go to my indoor track at the school I coach at and use that. But either way, try to find somewhere to run farther than I am right now. I just got to do it the best of what I can. But we went from 1.382 being our average score the first week to 1.297 the last week. So almost a full tenth of a second drop, 0.01 seconds off of a 10 seconds, so 0.09 seconds basically drop, which is awesome for a first month, especially accumulation phase. We're hitting our minimum effective dose and constantly getting a little better. Now we're going to hop into our intensification phase. That might kind of get a little rickety, with more stimulus. It might go down a little bit and then go back up. Either way, that's good to look at. We're going to see how our times keep going forward. Now let's hop into our strength and power. Top set snatches. We just did 2 sets of 3 as part of our deload. We're dropping a set from 3x4 to 2x3. Much easier. Felt pretty good on snatches today. Let's hop into our contrast training. Hopping into our hamstring work for the day, we're doing 1 leg hamstring curls. We did cut out single leg med ball slams for our last week, just to cut something out, drop more volume, get ready to go into our next phases. Another version of just cutting it down, so 2x5 instead of our 3x6 or 3x7 that we were doing before. Dropping that volume, intensity stays high, weight is going slightly higher actually than what we did last week. Top set of strict press, hopping straight into seal rows. Obviously, this is our upper body work. This is our superset that we do. Second set, we're only doing 2 for our deload week. This is it for the day. Sweet. There's 2 sets of 4 on both of those. Still hitting the same weights we were doing last week. A little bit heavier. 5 pounds heavier than on this one. But yeah, that's it for our max velocity days in month 1. Exciting to get that done. On to the next thing. So now we'll have a different max velocity workout, some new stuff to watch, which will be fun for you guys. Something different, something exciting, something more exciting for me. And everything's going to be a little bit different once I hop into my college strength and conditioning program. This will look a lot different in here. It'll just be mainly speed. And then I have to work around some stuff in my strength and conditioning at school. It'll be fun. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in 2 days.